What is up, guys? And today I'll be talking about who will make the college football playoff this year. There's a lot of pretty much interesting teams this year. I wouldn't be surprised to see a couple of changes, but I think it would be like closer to last year's. And here we go. First, I'll start off with who barely missed out at number 6, Penn State. They're a pretty good team. Even though their backup quarterback transferred, they pretty much have a good team all around. I could be wrong. Maybe they make it. As long as they beat Ohio State, they can make it, but I have them at a more realistic 6 slot, and I believe maybe a good bowl berth. But other than that, I think it would be like pretty interesting to see how this Penn State turns out. At number 5, I've got the Alabama Crimson Tide. Maybe I could be wrong. Even though they're replacing Mac Jones, they're replacing 6 of their 6 defensive startups. They're replacing mostly pretty much their QB and defense. Mac Jones is a great QB. He's a good QB, and I believe they could make the playoffs if they beat Texas A&M, who I think would be in. But I think Alabama sits out this one. It's pretty unrealistic to have a Nick Saban coach team out of the playoffs 2 consecutive years, but I think it might happen. At the number 4 seed, we have the Texas A&M Aggies. This team is returning a lot from last year, even though some players went to the draft. They're returning a lot from last year. Their schedule helps them as well. If they can beat 2 out of 3 of Auburn, Alabama, and LSU, I think they could make it. And let's see here. LSU has to return everybody, and A&M is playing at home, so I think that would be a win. Then about Alabama, I think that would be an L, especially considering that they're playing in Bryant-Denny and against Auburn. That's the toss-up match. That's pretty much a toss-up match, since Auburn can either defeat anyone on any given week, or be the team defeated any given week. Like, Auburn is that kind of surprise team. You just can't seem to get out of your head. But I think A&M has the talent to make it this year, and I would put them at a respectable number 4 seed and playing in the Sugar Bowl. My number 3 team, and in the Rose Bowl, the Arizona State Sun Devils. They're returning a lot. They're returning, including now sophomore quarterback Jaden Daniels. His potential is real. We saw what happened in the game versus Oregon in Tempe when he pretty much balled out Oregon and set the stage for what happened at the Pac-12 championship game, and where Oregon knocked out Utah out of the playoffs. And I believe Arizona can do it this year. Their schedule helps them a lot. They are playing 3 winnable out-of-conference games. Their toughest game would be Oregon on the road, and their second toughest game would be Utah at home. Win at least one of those 2 games, and they should be a pretty serious contender. I believe they could make it in this year, and well, who knows? We'll see how things turn out. At number 2, we've got the Ohio State Buckeyes. I believe they show enough talent to make it the number 2 spot. They could even make the number 1 spot if Notre Dame upsets Clemson. They're returning many players, including Heisman favorite Justin Fields, and they will be the same team they were a year ago. As long as they control the Big East, the Big Ten East, and they don't drop a game they shouldn't, they will make a deep run for the playoffs. And Justin Fields might as well win the Heisman. And at number 1, I've got the Clemson Tigers. They are that just one of a complete team. Even though they lost many wide receivers to the draft, they lost a wide receiver due to an injury. I believe this is the team that potentially could win the 2020 National Championship. They are the favorite team to win the 2020 National Championship. Their schedule as a whole favorites them, and pretty much their toughest game is in that game versus Notre Dame. They win that, and they're a lock for the number 1 seed. If they lose that, maybe they drop to 3 or 4. Yeah, I think they could drop as lowest as 3 or 4. I don't know if they could. I don't think with a loss of Notre Dame they would be excluded as a whole. But Clemson should control the ACC and stomp over all the ACC and make a deep run for the national championship. They're returning a lot of production, including number 1 Heisman favorite, Trevor Lawrence. If Trevor Lawrence can live up to the hype, he can live up to all of that, he should be Heisman winner, and Clemson should be a definite lock for the playoffs. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more college football contents, and see y'all around.